Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
While you're in sunny Florida, be sure to visit
WARlando! Into a world of epic adventure.
So
it's surprising how hard it is to get Skype to work for people. Like, I thought they would have had it sorted out like 15 years later.
It seems a little archaic for some reason. It's like you guys can do better.
They really could. Now that they are helping us because we are using them, and I am recording now, so I'm going to put that out to the world. You guys think Skype's annoying, but that's part of what we're talking about tonight. So, welcome to WARlando. This is Adam, and with me tonight is
Mark from WARlando as well.
and
this is your friendly neighborhood dungeon master, Matt.
Hey,
yes.
Matt, and where are you these days?
Oh, I am safe and sound, locked in and shut down, and up in the city of Atlanta.
Yeah, the old ATL.
So the plan tonight is to talk about our fun playing in the virtual Garycon that happened this past weekend, and but I think we should also talk about the elephant in the room, or the elephant that has us locked in our rooms: coronavirus, COVID-19. So we are all. Well, I'm in quarantine, and it's been a few days since I've seen a human other than my wife.
Yeah, same here. I mean, I haven't left the house for more than like 10 minutes in a few weeks now, just to get the very basics. So we'll do maybe a grocery shopping every 2 weeks. But besides that, I don't think I appreciated how filthy of a habit gaming is. Like, there's dice and there's cards and there's boards and you're near people and stuff. And now I'm not playing with anybody, but I have this compulsion to like wipe down my dice all the time.
That's interesting. Well, they say if there was going to be a major outbreak, a casino is the worst place to go for that same reason. Everybody's touching everybody else's game pieces, the chips, the cards,
just in
the
close
dice.
quarters around the table.
Yeah, surrounded by people handing you drinks all the time, different people picking up the drinks.
Yep, cash changing hands.
Yeah,
sharing seats right next to, like, shoulder to shoulder with people. Yeah,
one person gets up and another one sits down before anybody can clean anything. And there's the buffets. Everybody's eating at a buffet, which has got to be the worst cesspool of food you could possibly eat.
Oh yeah, that sneeze guard doesn't hold a chance.
Wasn't there somebody?
They invented that for a reason,
Yeah.
Right, but then everybody's grubby hands just goes past it,
Right. And I think I mentioned it at some point, but 7-Eleven just changed their setup where it used to be if you wanted to get one of those disgusting taquitos, which I tend to get pretty often, if you want to get one of those, you talk to the person that's handling the money to go get one and then take your money, which is already gross enough. Now they switched it so that while you're waiting in line, you get your own. So everybody in the lineup is breathing on those taquitos and hot dogs while they're getting ready to check out. And they did this right before the virus.
I don't know. I feel that if you can handle one of those taquitos or hot dogs, you got no problem.
Yeah. No problem with the virus. If that doesn't take you down, you're probably good.
Yeah.
Well, I can see it going the other way. Like, oh, you ate that, your immune system is compromised.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe for a beginner. Maybe for one of those who just don't know the way. But
the taquito took down my shields, and then COVID just hit me like full force.
Maybe it's like if this is the first one you've ever had, your immune system's in doubt. If you have those once a week, you are impenetrable. Oh, nothing can kill you.
No problem. Yep.
Man, so what have you been doing with your time, Matt? You've been working from home, right?
Yeah, I've been working nothing but home, and it's interesting because Mark and I are both kind of in construction, which is, by nature we go to places and then build them, right? It's kind of a little bit weird to try to, flip your whole career around backwards and be like, okay, I have to do nothing but things from the office now, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of the challenge.
And then, Mark, you're having a big challenge too because you're not completely shut down.
Yeah, we're not completely shut down. I mean, some projects are, of course, and I just got home from work, so I've been out in the field and also at work. But I'm trying to maintain and just keep everybody following the orders, following the guidelines. So that's been my main task.
Yeah,
as of late.
Now, when you come home, do you have to go through like one of those wash downs, like after somebody comes out of hypersleep in a sci-fi movie?
Yeah, pretty much. We got a pop-up tent in the driveway, and it's kind of set up like the ET. You know, when they had everybody when they actually got him, and so I go through like 3 different chambers. I get hosed down. And and they keep offering to set me on fire too, but I'm like, no. Please, kids, no. Put the gasoline down.
Just burn the clothes, and I'll be fine.
Yeah, I'll be all right.
Oh, man, it's funny. I keep thinking about going to the Silver Moon Drive-In now that I have all this time, and they were showing the other day. They were showing, I want to say, E.T. and Jaws.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
They're doing retro movies out there, which I'm so excited that they're doing retro movies at an actual drive-in theater. For those of you that don't know, it's based out of Lakeland, the Silver Moon Drive-In, and one of the only drive-in theaters I think left in Florida. And they normally do first-run movies, but now they're doing retro movies. I want to go even more than before.
Oh, that's exciting. Excellent. And what a better way. I mean, you're just in your vehicle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
If you do it right, you're exchanging money with a person, or maybe, I don't know if they have a prepay option. You can just show them that you paid on your phone and not even have to exchange cash or have them swipe a card.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Bring your own snacks.
Yeah, you can just sit in the car. You don't even have to open the window.
Exactly. Bring a couple Gatorade bottles just in case you got to go or something. You never have to make it out.
That's easier for me than for Haley.
well, she better practice before you go.
Everybody has to do their part, Haley. Okay.
And if I know anyone that can, I bet Haley can make it work.
It wouldn't surprise me at all.
Have you guys been doing any gaming or hobby stuff?
Well, as you speak, we just got done with delving back into our Star Wars campaign, which is absolutely amazing. And thank you, Nicholas, out there, for putting that back on, especially after with Curse of Strahd wrapping up. I find myself longingly just looking out the window, awaiting for its return. But we're on to the Star Wars, and that's some good stuff right there.
Yeah,
that is good stuff. Yeah, I've been playing my other group, which was a live group that I was playing with in a bar once a week. We've moved to playing online now, and we've been playing our way through Descent into Avernus, which is one of the more recent releases. So that's been a ton of fun. It's a great adventure. Everybody should check that out.
It starts in one of the major cities, right? Which city is it? Baldur's Gate?
It does. It starts in Baldur's Gate, so it starts sort of in a wretched hive of villainy and scum, right? And then it just gets worse from there. So
I heard it expressed that if you're talking about the Forgotten Realms, Waterdeep is like Metropolis, and Baldur's Gate is like Gotham.
That's pretty accurate. Yeah. That's about right. How I think about it.
That's cool. I've got this project I've been wanting to do. I've been looking at a lot of D&D maps because we've got this pocket door that leads into this room where I do the recording, which was Matt's old office since I bought the house he used to live in. But I want to put a big map of Waterdeep on that pocket door. I think that's a fun project for me to take on, except that I don't have the right type of like texture stuff for Mod Podging. So I don't want to go to like Home Depot or Lowe's right now because I'm quarantined.
Right.
Yeah, or I'm practicing social distancing, so I can't take that project
That's
on.
a proper terminology now.
Yes, practicing social distancing. Quarantine would be like if I was sick or I was suspected that I was sick. But I'm not currently suspected of being sick. But you know who is? A relative of a relative who's like a step relative. I don't want to go into too many details. She and her mom were in Georgia when they got sick.
Oh wow!
And they were staying.
How long ago was that?
That was about like a week ago.
About a week ago,
Yeah, they traveled after the non-travel advisory was in effect. So they drove up to Georgia, got sick in Georgia, and then decided to drive home. And they had family members at home that hadn't been exposed. And they had a place they could have stayed in Georgia. But they're like, it's not that big a deal. It's like the flu. Nobody's worried about it. Just crazy. I'm just beside myself. So instead of doing anything fun, I've just been on on Facebook today, like, here's what the CDC says you were supposed to do, and here's what the CDC says you're supposed to do now, and here's what the World Health Organization says.
You guys, everybody needs to be careful about that. I know we want to keep up with, what's going on, and it's all in the back of our minds, and it seems like some things are just beyond our control, but we need to focus on the things that we can, and we do have control over, and that's rough.
Particularly if you're talking about
it's
loved
been eating
ones.
a lot of people up.
Yeah, it's true. We all have to be careful.
I think it's just. I think a lot of people, when they're just processing the information or trying to get around the weirdness of it, the things I've heard is just like, well, if I get sick, that's fine. But I think people miss the being a carrier thing, or exposing people who didn't want to be exposed to it just by, you being out. Some people can't stay at home. If you can stay at home, you should. But some people, like Mark, don't have an option.
Yeah.
You have, I guess from my perspective, there's an ethical obligation everybody has to, if you can stay inside or work from home, you should, because some people can't and don't have that option. Yeah.
So give them space and don't come in contact with them. So because they don't want to be in contact with you.
And what if they had to stop at the gas station? What if the next person to use that pump was one of your guys? And so now all these people that don't have any choice are all exposed. Like you're saying, it's not fair to be that kind of selfish right now.
Yeah.
But other than that, I have all this free time, so I've been trying to do some hobby stuff. Thankfully, I got that 3D printer right before this started. Like, it came in the mail right when I was starting to worry about stuff coming in the mail. And so I've been learning how to resize models to suit what I need and make everything line up. And I've been printing out a lot of Warhammer bases. I found some really neat looking ones that someone online had made. And so I've been resizing those for the models that I want to put them on. So it's been fun. I really enjoy it. And I built this great dice tower with the Tomb of Horrors demon head guy on the front.
I just saw that. That looks amazing.
I'm pretty excited about it.
With that new gear and all the time that you're spending and the research you've done, how close are you to Westworld? I have to know.
How close am I to Westworld?
Right, to creating Westworld, it seems like.
I think maybe I could figure out how to make a fleshlight.
Well, that's about the point of Westworld. It seems like.
That's as close as I can get to Westworld.
Guys, we can create artificial intelligence and super lifelike robots. What should we do? I know. Let's fuck them.
Got the entire world of possibilities, and nope, that's it. That's what we're gonna do.
Just a good old fleshlight.
Oh yeah, but it sounds like what you're saying, Matt, with your D&D group. Virtual gaming right now is something really awesome that everybody gets to do. And Garycon was supposed to happen and they were canceled, but they decided to do a virtual Garycon this past weekend, and the three of us got to play.
Yeah, what a great time that was, and so good of them putting that on. And I was thinking this was their first year. I believe this is actually their second year of doing this now. So that's awesome. So they had everything all primed, ready to go.
Oh, so I thought this was a last minute change. Was this always an option?
It was from my brief reading, and I need to get in there more. But I believe this is the second year that they've done the virtual gaming, and of course, unfortunately, the big event there was canceled. But at least there was this alternative, so which was great, because they were going to have and celebrate their 12th year of doing Garycon. So, yep.
Well, I think they did maybe pivot a little bit and just make it free online.
Yes, that was a big thing, I believe. Yep.
That's so great.
Because I think they wanted to capture the revenue, obviously, but it sounds like they just realized with, they were already, like so many of these live events that just got caught up in the buzzsaw, they were just going to be screwed no matter what. So they said, well, you know what, let's just take what we got and then make sure everybody has a good time and our brand stays alive the best it can, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And put the effort towards next year. And speaking of Garycon and doing the virtual, I don't know if you've checked your email lately, but we all got virtual swag packs.
Oh, really?
From Garycon for participating. Yeah. So it looks like if I open this up, looks like a bunch of PDFs. Looks like a free pass to another convention. ShizuCon, so somewhere in Madison, Wisconsin. It looks like it said sorry about the Garycon. So please accept this free pass. Oh, that's nice.
It's so great that we got signed up. We get virtual swag bag.
Oh, and then check this out. There's a whole list of Garycon discounts and freebies as well. So different freebies from different gaming companies and a lot of the sponsors and a lot of the vendors too that were there are offering a lot of discounts. I see like Fat Dragon Games on there.
That's awesome.
Definitely, guys, check that out. That's nice. Cool.
Fat Dragon Games is the one that made that dice tower that I just printed, which I purchased on the Fat Dragon Games site. So yeah, more discounts there would be awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I did take advantage of that. They sent out the list of like, hey, here's all of our vendors that also got screwed over by this, right?
Yeah.
And that's, a lot of these folks, that's how they, make their living. And so I went on there and they had some discount codes, which are great. And I bought I got a Call of Cthulhu starter set for like 20% off or something.
Man,
it was
I was just thinking about that. That would be a great one to run.
Oh, yeah.
It's just a one-off. You beat me to it. Son of a gun. It's been sitting in my Amazon checkout cart for ages, and I just haven't got around to getting it. Because I think I was waiting for some kind of discount.
Yeah, well, there you go.
We should still play it. We should still run it. Yeah, maybe because you're the D&D guy, the DM, Matt. Maybe I could run it for you guys to give everybody else a break.
Yeah, absolutely. I really just want to learn the system a little bit better, and I think I started reading it at one point. But yeah, anybody obviously who wants to, I would love to either just play it or run it or whatever works. It's always been a system that just seems it's so different than D&D, which I spent a lot of time playing. It's just hey, you are just a normal person.
Yes.
Like you have one hit point and no armor. It's exactly like me if I actually tried to sword fight somebody. Right?
Yeah, it's exactly like a drunk with a beer bottle is just as dangerous as a dragon. You have equal opportunity to die from it. Yeah, I would love to play that. And I'm really looking forward to exploring this because I'm working on building an epic dungeon for the tabletop and having the 3D printer going and getting more stuff because I had all that paper terrain from Fat Dragon, which I'm still putting some of that together too. My hobby right now, being at home, is just out of control, and I'm getting pretty frustrated about it because I can't seem to focus on any one thing, and I'm finding like psychologically what I think is happening is that I did my best work when I had a time crunch.
Gotcha. And
the competitive edge, the idea of like, I need to get this done because it needs to fit into this particular army I'm playing this weekend. Do you know what I mean?
Right, yeah. But you're not going down to the store to play now, so that makes it a little difficult.
Yeah, all of a sudden all my drive is gone. I've got all the time and like almost no drive. It's super frustrating. But I do have the chance to experiment. I think I'm going to get the airbrush out tomorrow and try that.
Sweet.
Yeah, excellent. I haven't done much with it before, so this will be a first.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is funny how deadlines will do that to you, right?
In one way or another. Deadlines are so stressful, and I love it. I love a deadline. Just like I love being in the weeds at work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It sucks, but it's like that adrenaline. Particularly if you're like, it sucks, but you know what you're doing. Do you know what I mean? That's a great feeling to just dive in and just swim through it, you know?
It really is. You know, a lot of the tasks, like especially stuff that's the more mundane things, you really don't want to do it, but it's got to get done. You know, you look at it first and it's just overwhelming, but then kind of once you get started, like, well, let me just do this one little easy part.
Yes.
Like, all right, well, that made this part easier, and then before you know it, you know, you're off and running, and then you hit it, you know, you hit your deadline, or you get a lot done, you know, maybe by the end of the day or by the end of the week, and then you look back and you go like, you know, wow, look at all that stuff I did, right?
Yeah.
I know that sounds basic, but there's some psychology to it, right?
There absolutely is. I heard somebody say when you're feeling overwhelmed, like he used the example of pulling weeds out of your yard, and you're looking across the yard and you're seeing all these weeds and it just feels endless. He says start in the corner with your back to the yard. And so you're only looking at what you've done, not what you have left to do. Look at all I've done. You know, it can be very fulfilling.
That is very good. Yep. How do you eat the elephant? One bite at a time. So.
Gross.
I thought that was supposed to be a trunk or tail.
And just one bite at a time.
One bite at a
Doesn't
time.
matter.
All
You
right.
can start anywhere.
So
It's
yeah,
up to you.
back to Garycon. So we did our virtual game. You guys want to walk us through that, or like just getting to the game? Because we met up that morning first on Skype, like we were meeting up right now.
Right. Just to go over, I think I don't know how did we even get the idea of joining this? How did we hear about it? I don't
think
remember that.
I saw something about it because I was in some kind of Discord group. It was either a Discord group or I saw it on Twitter that they were saying that Garycon was canceled, but virtual Garycon was a thing.
Gotcha. And I think that's when you planted that seed in our ears as to, hey, we should really do this.
Yeah, it was either me or Matt.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think somebody put the link, and then one of us started digging into it, and then it's like, oh well, this one's full, that one's full. Oh man! But then we found one game that had all the slots open, like on Saturday morning.
Yeah.
Like which I mean, some people might not be like this, but you guys know I'm a morning person, so I was just like, oh man, like 9 o'clock, a cup of coffee and D&D sounds lovely.
Oh yeah,
that's perfect for me as well. So
what a great way to start your day. You know, yeah, definitely fantastic. D&D, coffee, breakfast.
Right there.
Yes. So we met up first on.
And that is the con experience, right? Like it's like, hey,
yes,
get up.
Time
it's
to play.
Like, I know you're on vacation or fun mode, but get your ass out of bed, put your dice in your pants, and let's go.
I know it's a different thing, and I don't know if we're going to be clear by mid-June, but MegaCon moved to mid-June, so they have some D&D gaming that they're going to be doing, and it's this big con with all these different things going on. But I think it would be amazing if the three of us just took over their D&D room. And we're just like, who's a DM? You're a DM? All right, we're playing with you. All right, who else is a DM? All right, let's go. It's us. Here we come. I think it'd be fun to take that over for the weekend. We like a cooler full of beer and just MegaCon all weekend. D&D.
Game.
Well, we're going to be very good at like not leaving a room. You know, we're going to have like all
we're
kinds
gonna be
of skill
experts.
upgrades and levels and experience points.
Right. Yeah. You want to see the rest of the convention? Nope.
No.
Good right here.
Yeah. No, I wonder how many people are
quarantined ourselves right here.
I wonder if people are going to like develop agoraphobia from this, or like just a fear of big open spaces, you know?
I've already caught myself like just like I would never have been the kind of person that sort of looks at somebody sideways if they go to hand me something, like but now like somebody gives you a pen to sign something, or heaven forbid you like somebody tries to pay for something with cash or give you change, like I must have a look of sheer horror on my face. Right? It's like a very normal thing a month ago, right?
Yeah, like in a post-COVID apocalypse world, are we all going to carry pens and stylus in our pocket all the time for any time we have to sign something? Do we just keep our own so we don't have to hand stuff back and forth?
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see,
Yeah.
I think it'll be. I mean, it'll make me want to do the whole pay with your phone thing, which I don't really do too much now, but I have it set up and I just forget to use it, So that's maybe one way, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's probably right. That's probably the way it's going to go. Who's going to even want to touch a pen after this? Then
I'll bring my own.
Yeah,
I always usually do.
Yeah, I think that's just the way it's going to be. This is the way.
It is the way.
I think I think the signing receipts thing, right, is probably the time you use a pen most, and that's basically bullshit anyway, right?
Yeah,
it's not really an actual thing.
Yeah, 'cause anytime that I've had my identity stolen or had like a credit card stolen, you know what I mean? At no point did they say, "Is this your signature?" Right. Nobody's ever asked that when they go to handle the problem. They just say, "Yep, okay, it was stolen. Here it is, corrected."
Yep.
Or occasionally somebody who's being diligent will be like, if it's a major purchase, like, "Hey, can I see your ID? I want to make sure this is you with your credit card." But that's signing it. No, that's just a placebo, right?
Yeah, and I think places like Walmart don't even do it anymore. They don't have you sign anything. They just "Yep, here you go." They run your card and you're out.
Yeah, they don't do that. And if they have you sign anything, it's usually on some sort of digital screen. And of course, they don't have a stylus or anything, so you're doing it with your finger. And I know every time I sign one of those, it looks nothing like my own signature. So I'm just going to start putting an X.
Yes, what's even the point of having you sign it if you can't even recognize your signature? Yeah. Anyway, I do think it's that is something that's going to go away. We're definitely phasing it out.
Yeah, all that kind of silly stuff needs to go. And the whole, I need a receipt for like a pack of cigarettes or a 6-pack of beer. No,
don't hand me stuff. Yeah, don't hand me that stuff. If you've got if you're saving receipts for a business, you just use the one card, and then everything on the card is your business card. Yeah, receipts, signing stuff. Yeah, that's old. Paper. Who needs paper anymore? Nobody needs paper.
No. Out of here, paper.
I can't think of anything better to eat a chicken wing in than a good quality t-shirt. Good quality t-shirt over my body. I don't even need a fucking napkin. I got sleeves, bitches. And you know where I go to get my t-shirts? I go to teespring.com. Those are the t-shirts that'll take care of your chicken wing addiction, even if you do keep it one in your wallet, just for prosperity.
That's teespring.com/stores/WARlando-2. So we met up Saturday morning. We met up via Skype because, Mark, you and I I'd used Roll20 once before, but it was like 2 years ago, and I barely remember it.
Yeah.
And that was your first time using Roll20, Mark?
Yeah, I used it that day. Yeah, but I did sign on to it, make my account earlier in the week, and when I had a few spare minutes here and there, I kind of took myself through the tutorial, which I got it set up really well. And it goes deep, really. Yeah. So then I was like, wow, okay, I'm doing this tutorial for a lot of things I don't think I'm going to need for this Saturday. I mean, that's great down the road, but let's throw it over to YouTube. So I watched a little YouTube. Hey, you're playing as a player? Just watch this. This is all you need to know. We're not going to go into the depths of it. And I'm like, all right, that's cool with me. So I just learned the basics off of that, and it seemed to work out well.
That's awesome. Yeah. I did watch a couple YouTube videos to get refreshed, and I updated my profile, so only a couple extra things I felt like I really needed to learn that day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and for people that might not have used it before, so basically it's just this kind of blank slate virtual tabletop, right? And we were playing D&D on there, but you can basically upload any map and sort of build any character sheet that you want and do all the dice rolls and anything that you can think that you want to pop up, and it moves around at scale, right? Like I was thinking here, I was like, you guys were complaining the other day about like, man, it's really hard to get a Warhammer game off. Like, what would that look like on Roll20?
Yeah.
Like somebody super smart could figure that out, right?
I'm sure.
Why not? I mean, what's the barrier,
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think all of the tokens are there. The dice rolls are all possible. You can create, just like you would have a player sheet, a character sheet. You could have what they call the War Scroll in Warhammer. Yeah, it's totally doable. to do tabletop or do it over Roll20.
I could see that, Games Workshop would not necessarily want to support that the way that Wizards of the Coast has, being that they're like a model company who also makes a game.
Yes,
right?
Yes, absolutely.
That's kind of their business model.
Yeah, I could definitely see them not wanting to support that. But, I mean, we can just put generic names on everything and just, at least now, I could see them being bothered, but I don't see them acting on it now while this is happening, while we're in this major crisis.
Yeah, that's an interesting thought there. Just like, what's the point where they realize that, like, this is, crippling their business, which is super social, right?
Right, because it is.
It absolutely depends on being in person, period. No way around it, right?
Right, unless we can do it on Roll20, but then you're not doing it with any of these miniatures. And then why buy paint? Why buy the models? Why buy the glue and everything, the brushes?
Yeah, so a lot of people are doing the hobby at home, but maybe this will be something for them to, start getting their RPG going.
Yes, I was really hoping that would be out by now. They said it was going to be first calendar quarter 2020, not business quarter. But we're here. This is the end of the first calendar quarter. Where is it? I got in touch with them too. I was really hoping they would let me be a playtester, but their communication seemed a little bit. They all said how busy they were. Each different department I talked to, trying to get in there as a playtester. Yeah. So okay, they're busy. I understand. They're rolling out a brand new game. So this got to be a really busy time, but I'm just here. I want to try things out, be a playtester if they want one.
Yeah, and I've heard other people who end up working for gaming companies or aspire to work for gaming companies talk about how it's sort of a weird thing because they need a ton of staff, like when a new big core book comes out to vet everything and do the math and run the models,
yeah,
and
even
write
just
content, do art and all this stuff. But then it comes out, and those people they don't need all that staff again for a while, for a couple of years, right?
Right.
So I know Wizards of the Coast went through that big time. Like the expansion and contraction thing was really hard for them to manage.
Yeah, I bet. But that's why you got to build that community of play testers and writers that want to be freelance. As a play tester, I'm not looking to get paid or anything, but I could see writing like, hey, I've been playing the game. I really like it. Here's an adventure I wrote, like that. Wizards of the Coast is full of that. You know what I mean, for D&D.
Well, and do you guys know? Are they going to make whatever these RPG rules are? Are they going to put the open source sort of legal tag on it
for Soulbound?
Like Wizards of the Coast did.
I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know if they did that for Warhammer Fantasy Battles, which is the other one that's out. They also do the Lord of the Rings game and the Warhammer 40K role-playing games.
Because I think that was how Wizards of the Coast got that community, and now they have the Dungeon Masters Guild now, which is where a lot of that stuff all lives, right? Because they said, look, we promise we're not going to sue you if you talk about our mechanics and write your own adventure, right?
I think that's great. I think that just gets more interest into it. There's a lot of creative people out there, and they're contributing to it all, and I think that's awesome. I'm
curious if the size of the product is a factor in that. I can't off the top of my head think of how or why, but with Warhammer Age of Sigmar Soulbound being this probably a microcosm in comparison to Dungeons and Dragons, I don't know if that making that open source, they know their books are going to sell no matter what.
Yeah. Well, and I think the Wizards model, because you can get the 75-page basic rule set for D&D for free, and you always have been able to, even from the first day it came out, right?
Yeah.
You never had to buy anything to just learn the absolute basics. But then they sell the pre-canned content and the convenience of it and the, here's everything that we think you could do with this, or here's our best stab at making something with this within this rule set, right?
Yeah. And there's this thing too with the, I don't know if it's just with older gamers, there's something about owning a book and holding the book in your hand. I don't know if that's a factor with younger gamers, but I know the incentive is definitely there to just go virtual if you're using D&D Beyond at all. I'm going to buy more books digital than I'm going to buy the physical copy, and it's just the new nature of the beast. It's the same thing with Age of Sigmar. Every book I buy digital. If I really love the book, I might get a hard copy, but I definitely everything I need or I want, I buy digital for sure.
Right.
But with Games Workshop, I mean, they change it, pretty frequently. So
that's true too.
I think the digital is the way to go there. And of course, with the D&D, yeah, I love having the books on the shelf. But going out to play, I think it's nice having the old tablet with all the books on it. That's pretty handy.
And
anytime it's a lot lighter too.
Yes, and you have it with you all the time. Mm-hmm. You stop waiting for something in a lobby or in a waiting room, and then you can just be looking at whatever book. You can be updating your character. You can be rearranging your spell sheet. You can do all that right there in your phone. Which it's just we're outside of the disease that wants to kill all of us. It's a great time to be alive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd say so.
I mean, I think I went the way Mark was saying, there for a while. I was like, screw it, everything digital, it's super easy. But then I was, as I mentioned earlier, I was playing Descent into Avernus, and we were all sitting around playing live, and Dungeon Master says, okay, you guys find a map. And then he pulled the map out of Descent into Avernus and threw it out on the table, and I was like, okay, now I need the physical copy.
Yeah, there's that part of it too.
Yes,
and it's
still something nice about the tactile.
It was so cool too. It was this very abstract map of Avernus, this the plane of hell and everything, and just so now I got both.
The digital copy, is there a digital map in there of that map, or is it only available in the physical copy?
Yeah, it's in there and beyond. I mean, you can download a high-res version of it for sure. But I mean, there's something about a glossy tactile map that's just super satisfying, right?
Yes, absolutely, yes. I've got boxes full of them. I love them. So we got Saturday back to virtual Garycon. Saturday morning, the game started at 10, so we were all on there about 10 minutes to 10 trying to get set up, and right away, of course, technical difficulties. Right away. Mark, what ended up happening?
Yeah, well, it appears, that was my first time using Discord, the actual audio portion of it, because we just fired up accounts, all of us, and have actually gotten on and been texting back and forth, through the channels. But this is the first time I've used the audio, and that just didn't work.
Nope.
So
it took me a minute to find it.
Yeah. Well, I had it, and I was like, oh, that's my problem. I need to unmute myself. And I did, and it wasn't picking up my microphone. It wasn't picking up the one that I got plugged in. I went to the default one out of the computer, and then one of the players suggested, hey, I had issues before, too, on a Mac, so why don't you just use it off of your phone? And I had already got the app on the phone, so I'm like, perfect. Let's do that. And I went through it, and still that wouldn't work as well. I heard you guys great. You guys sounded wonderful.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, and it is a little fiddly. It's kind of, and I mean, that wasn't just that Dungeon Master being picky. That's when I've played Roll20 campaigns before, that seems to be the standard is people want to use the voice channel on Discord and then turn off all the audio and video features of Roll20 and just use that for tabletop and dice rolling.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know this for a fact, but I assume that's just because the tools on Roll20 are kind of crummy or just not reliable. So people have just gone away from it altogether, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. That history, but I know that once that was figured out, everything worked great. And I didn't notice much in the way of lag in the conversation. There weren't a lot of people talking over each other. I know I set up the push to talk on mine, which made a difference, I think. Except that it was a little frustrating being on Roll20 for the virtual tabletop. I use the space bar, which I wouldn't do again as my push to talk button, because I would not realize I have my cursor in the middle of something, and all of a sudden I've created 30, 40 spaces behind what I want to do, and I have to go back and delete it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Push to talk is great. I prefer not to use it. I think for the reason you said is, I think sometimes I notice people that are using push to talk tend to release the button a little bit too soon.
Yeah.
And so
there's
a delay. The last bit of what they say.
Yeah. I think I was doing that. I think it's something you got to get used to. Hit, talk, let go.
Yeah, I also saw that there's a delay afterwards, but yeah, you're right. I think some people were letting go a little too early.
That's one part of it, but then the other thing too is that I couldn't tell if my jokes were funny or annoying because I couldn't hear anybody laugh.
Because everybody was being polite and muting themselves.
Right. Maybe people who were dying, without pushing the space bar. I don't know. But.
I know at work we wear headsets, and so I will hit my push to talk button when someone says something funny, and I definitely wasn't doing that Saturday. So I guarantee I was laughing with you, Matt. I just wasn't hitting my push to talk button.
At me or with me is fine as long as somebody's laughing, because there's that weird there's no video at all. It's just talking into a box, and then you're like, I said something, and then nobody else said anything.
Right.
Uh-oh. Did it break? Was it not good? Like, what happened? Right.
My joke was the wrong kind of offensive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
So the game itself was a trip. It was, for a 4-hour game, there were definitely a lot of, it was like we played 3 different games over the course of that 4 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys want to talk about that first section?
Yeah, well, first off, I'd just like to say it was a new setting that we weren't familiar with, the Eberron setting.
Eberron, let's talk about that. What a cool
don't
setting.
Don't bury the lead. Oh my God, Eberron. Yeah. How cool is that?
Yeah, really cool. Yeah.
Arcane punk is a thing. You've got cyberpunk, steampunk, arcane punk, and Eberron is arcane punk all the way. A high-tech society, but all of their technology is magic-based. So cool. Mark, do you need a break? Mark just got up and left. Mark's done.
Oh, did he?
No, I'm good. Dottie wanted to be in here with me. Yeah, she was scratching at the door. Usually when I come in the art room, she likes coming by. She's got her own little bed right here, and she'll lay down.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, Luna usually hangs out with me when I'm doing hobby stuff.
Yeah.
Until I'm painting, and then she wants to scratch her butt on the chair, And
oh God, hold still. So yeah, Eberron, arcane punk, like high-tech world, all powered by magic. So cool. I loved the map that he showed us to give us the primer of like showing the railroad running all across the continent. So cool.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, easy way to get around this place.
Yeah, and like giant booming metropolis with multiple levels, like a city built on top of city, built on top of city for generations.
And it seems like, and I haven't read too much into it except for the little starter get to know it in the beginning of the book, but everything's based around this big event, this war, the Great War, and then this big event, the Mourning, and it seems like everything focuses around that.
Yeah, and everybody's living in fear of another war, and that there's still spies and there's still grudges.
Yeah, there's a lot of tension. I mean, right off the bat, it really sets it up for that.
Did either of you watch that Carnival Row on Amazon Prime?
No, it looked interesting though. How was it? Did you see it?
I saw it and I liked it. It was
the visuals remind me of this.
Yeah, very similar in that it is not as much magic in the technology, but the entire society is defined by the last war that had just ended, and everybody's living in, like, there's a lot of people that are refugees living in absolute poverty because of how that war ended, and there's rivalries between the magic folk and the humans. I think it's well worth a watch if you're willing to give it a go. I liked it a lot. But
why not?
Definitely
we're
remind me.
Gonna have some time.
Yep.
So
I'm writing notes now.
Yeah, I might give it another go. I think I did 2 laps on that one already, but now after talking about Eberron, it makes me want to watch it again.
Very cool. All right, I'll have to start in on that too. We'll compare notes.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. So yeah, Eberron. The Warforged are a big part of Eberron.
Yep.
Mark, you didn't play a Warforged, right? You played a human?
Yeah, I played actually a race called a changeling.
Yes, that's awesome. Shapeshifter.
Yeah. There's actually that's another race. So there was a changeling. I thought my character was a shapeshifter, but then it was actually a changeling. So these ones, this new race, just specific to Eberron, but they have the ability to basically just change their appearance, change their sex, just change how they look. So I thought that was really cool, and especially playing a rogue character, I thought that fit perfectly. And then the shapeshifters, they have a little bit of the beast within them, so they can change their appearance a bit, but in a more bestial nature. So those were the two I was reading up on, because they look pretty interesting.
And Matt, you were playing a human, but you were an artificer?
Yeah, I was an artificer, and that was exciting. Probably the most exciting part about the Eberron release was this is the first time they've released a new class since the original Player's Handbook came out. There's been tons of different variants within classes, different kinds of wizards, different kinds of rogues or monks or what have you. But as a whole new class, this is the first time they've done that, and so I just couldn't wait to get my hands on that.
Yeah, I guess everything else before this was a subclass.
Right, exactly. There's at least 7 or 8 different kinds of wizards. Which they started off with 3 or 4, and then they built more out. But yeah, this is the first core edition, and since the Player's Handbook.
That's awesome. What'd you think of the class?
Yeah. Well, it's super great because I think one of the favorite characters I ever played was a Tinker Gnome. But he was an arcane trickster rogue. So I wanted that. I've always wanted that character who's just like what you described as far as the Eberron setting is little what look like machines or little devices that's really some kind of blend of magic and engineering, that all kind of just works together. That's kind of what I wanted to build when I was playing with that Tinker Gnome, but it was before an Artificer came out. So now it's just full blown right down that alley. I could build a little cannon that I could just set off to the side that walks around on its own and shoots people and does its own stuff,
That's so cool.
That was really cool.
And there was a different kind of artificer that was one of the other people playing, who had a battle dog that was with her.
Yeah.
Just super cool stuff, right?
So steampunk, arcane punk, having all these mechanical items running around, helping everybody. Mark, what was the name of that dog on Doctor Who?
Oh, Canine.
Canine. Oh, well, that's easy. Yeah. you didn't remember that? Okay, yeah. Yeah, they didn't have to go deep. They were one of the originals. They don't have to try too hard.
Yeah. Well, it's K-9, so that was
So I was playing a cleric, but it was a Halaster cleric. And the Halaster are a race of people that think tiefling, except instead of the tiefling, their bloodline was tainted by infernal beings. The Halaster, their bloodline was tainted by interdimensional beings. So beings that live in this other dimension, this dream dimension. That's Kobe.
Yeah, and I didn't know about that race until you were kind of describing it at the beginning of the game, and it's immediately got my wheels turning. I was just oh man, the cool stuff you could do with that.
I said Halaster, which is not the actual name of what the species is. I said it a few times.
Just make it up.
I was going to give you just let it
go. What was it? The Kalishtar? I was just reading about Halaster. Yeah, but anyway, sure, that's my excuse. Is it Kalishtar? I'm gonna edit all this later. I can see your video.
Kalishtar, but I haven't heard anybody say it but you guys, so I don't know.
I think it does start with a K, but you call it what you want. I mean, these are weird times, so the rules don't apply anymore.
A Halaster cleric, that sounds kind of even more badass. I want to yell about that character.
Kalashtar is the name. Kalashtar.
Okay.
I'm going to edit this in later. I'm going to say it a few times.
If you say so.
Kalishtar. I played a Kalishtar. Okay, now I can take all this that I just said. I'm going to edit it in earlier. You can make anything real. It's magic.
It is. It's all about the smoke and mirrors.
So yeah, Kalishtar that are the ones that they are psychics. They can read your mind, and they can project their thoughts into your mind.
Really
so
cool.
they can talk to you. Yeah, very cool to have. Psionics used to be a class in like advanced Dungeons and Dragons, and Psionicists I don't think have made their way fully in here yet, but Kalishtar sounds pretty close. Are there psionics anywhere else in D&D?
There are some monsters have those powers, I think.
Yeah.
But as far as playable races, and I could be wrong here because I'm a little bit behind on my reading, but I don't think so.
Yeah. I don't think so either.
It may have come about on maybe one of the supplements, but I know like in D&D, I mean, it was a supplement, a fighting technique. It was an ability that you could take. But I think like the Mind Flayers had it.
Yes.
Yeah. Psionic attacks.
I remember it being kind of a mixed bag as far as people liking it or not liking it with the, back in the 90s, because it was this whole sci-fi mutant thrown into the D&D world, and I don't think there was... I think some people loved it and other people hated it, but I think these days, the Dungeons and Dragons is just so broad and so open to whatever you can imagine that I think it fits fine now. I'm surprised they haven't brought it back in a big way.
Yeah, I think so too. I think this Eberron world reminds me very much of I think was it first or maybe second edition AD&D, where they came out with the Spelljammer. I got sitting on the shelf over here. So yeah, with the flying ships and everything,
and traveling
lots of
planets.
Mind Flayers. Yeah,
some really cool stuff, and D&D is in the best place it's ever been. It just seems to be getting better and better all the time. The only people I hear complaining about it are somehow also racist.
Really?
I don't know why. I don't. Except that, like, okay, I'll have a conversation with them. Oh, you're a purist. You don't like the way the game's changed. Okay, and then the conversation goes, oh, well, people are saying that drow are blue now. Why is that a bad thing? Well, I'll tell you why it's a bad thing. And they pull their Dixie flag out of their back pocket and...
What?
What?
Oh, God. Wow.
Yeah, I know. I don't expect it to go that way, but it went that way. Dude, they're magical elves. They can be any color. Relax for a minute. It doesn't matter. It's a fun fantasy game, and it's great that people are passionate about it. But maybe don't be passionate about that thing at the same time as you're passionate about this thing. Keep let that be separate.
Just remember, at the end of it all, it's just a game. So
Wow. I'm not saying that everybody who's not into D&D right now is also some kind of white hood wearing person.
That would be a broad accusation, sir.
Yeah.
It would be that'd be a bit too
some
much.
Type of wizard? What?
Oh my God. Yeah, that's it. Like a grand wizard.
Oh, very good.
Maybe they were playing D&D the whole time. Like never mind. Let's change the subject. I don't think I should talk about this anymore. I think too easy to make a joke that'd be misunderstood. Just like all Matt's jokes that we weren't laughing at on Saturday.
Right. I was immediately blocked by everybody else on Discord as soon as that thing was over. Nope, not that guy.
So let's stop talking about our societal ills. Let's go back to playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, Garycon.
Garycon. So we're getting into these characters and learning how these characters play, and I definitely I just kind of overnight, because we just decided what we were going to play like the day before, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty much.
So we didn't have a chance to build these characters. They were pre-generated for this adventure, right?
Right. So it had. You go ahead.
Oh, and at first, when we had signed up for this, we thought, oh, great, we got in. There's going to be the three of us. We were hoping Nicholas could join too. So, there was that option as well. And then we got we get an email then after we signed up going, hey, guys, you're going to have to bring a character from these other adventures, because I guess this is like the second portion of this ongoing storyline for Adventurers League. And it's like, so you should have a character built up to 5th level. Well, we had none of that.
Nope.
So, and then we contacted them and we're like, man, sorry, I don't think we're going to be able to do it, so we're going to have to drop out. And then we got a very happy reply email saying, oh, hey, we got some pre-gens you can use. So
fantastic. Yeah, I was so relieved.
Yeah, that really saved the day.
Yeah. But then we get in there, and the very first thing that happens, he gives us this amazing rundown of what Eberron is, talking about what this amazing fantasy realm is like, and then giving us a bit of a recap that we're looking for this crystal skull. And then we did a separate little mini adventure with different pre-gen characters that we all had to dive into together. And there were 5 of us playing, five player characters and the 1 DM. So what was that like?
It was like a 1 hour just like backstory where we just used, they weren't even really characters, they were like NPCs stat blocks. Like we all had I had a barbarian NPC, and then you guys had something
I was a barbarian
like that,
too.
right?
Yep, I had a barbarian warforged.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a very blue drow.
He was blue.
Yeah, he was blue. Yeah. Yeah, so it was good. It was fun.
Yep. So the idea was, the clock's ticking. You have exactly an hour real time to get in here and solve this short little dungeon and get out with the crystal skull. So I remember.
Yeah, how'd that go?
We walked around the first corner. We walk around the first corner, and he's doing the Roll20 map, and so we're all getting the screen share of the map, and he's shines a light into this room. I feel very good about my D&D instincts. He's showing us the room, and he says, you see this room ahead of you, and the map is checkered floors, like a chessboard. and I hit my push to talk. I don't know if everybody heard me. I hit my push to talk and said, never trust a checkered floor.
And then what happens?
And then somebody, was it you, Matt?
That was me. Yep.
Yeah. And you're just like, okay, and walk right into the room. And then what happened?
I think so. The other part of that too is he made it very clear, like, look, you have an hour. We're going to do this for exactly 1 hour. Whatever happens, happens. And I think what I said was like, hey, does anybody, I was a barbarian, right? Like I wouldn't know how to check for traps or do anything like that. And I kind of said, all right, I'm in the front. I'm a barbarian. I'm a tank. Hey, does somebody want to check for traps? And then it was silence, or people didn't know how to use their push to talk, whichever.
Well,
so you a couple of beats, and then I said, I'm going.
You didn't hear me say, never trust a checkered floor?
No, we did, but I think you were having trouble operating your push to talk, and I don't think you pushed it in time. So all we heard was trust a checkered floor. So
it's your fault.
It's my fault.
It's all your fault.
Totally my fault. So you got, you weren't down or anything like that. You were hit with what?
Yeah, a scythe came out of the ceiling and took about a third of my hit points right in the very first one turn.
Yes. And then there was this, like, thankfully it didn't come up, but there was this, like, layer of liquid on the floor, too, that had a elemental smell to it. So, like, the floor was flammable. Thankfully, someone had used a magic light spell, instead of us lighting a bunch of torches and then getting knocked down by scythes. That could have been a really interesting room.
Yep.
And let me say, as we're going through this, spoilers, because we did play through, it was Adventures League DDAL-EB-05. So if you're planning on running that scenario or anytime in the near future, we are talking through this entire middle section. of the Adventures League Eberron Adventure.
Which it is the current season right now, so people that are doing Adventures League may actually run up against that, even though it's pretty specific.
Yes,
Yeah.
so spoiler alert, if you are an Adventure League player,
Don't trust the checkered floor, or trust it. One of the two.
Trust it.
Trust-
Trust always
click,
trust
click,
it.
click,
It's
trust
your friend.
checkered floor.
There's nothing
Trust it.
there's nothing that's going to happen but good results.
Click, 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 trust the checkered floor.
That's all we heard, man.
Yeah, that's it.
You shouldn't have that space bar as your push to talk button.
Awesome. So we belly crawl underneath these sides to get to the next room, which is across the room. There's the skull we're looking for up on this altar, and on the floor there's this big circle of like a serpent or a dragon eating its own tail on the floor. And having already come through the one trap room, I decided, because I was the other tank, I would go first, and I just like walked off on the side to avoid stepping on the serpent. And I don't think I ever said, I look around the room. I did not do any looking around the room. I just started walking into it.
And how did that work out?
I was almost killed right away because we were attacked by 3 displacer beasts.
Nasty things, those creatures.
What makes them so nasty, Matt?
Well, they're like the cannon behind them is they're basically shifting between planes all the time, so they're extremely hard to hit.
Yep.
Because they're literally like sort of dipping out of existence all the time, right?
Yep. So I think that I don't remember how the mechanic works. You can hit them right after they've acted, but not before they've acted in the initiative order.
Right.
Something along those lines. So if they get to go first, you're okay. But if they're going last, you might not get a chance to hit them at all. It's kind of counterintuitive. I could be wrong about that.
They have a long reach, they have like 10-foot reach. So and there was 3 of them in this small room, so you really couldn't move too much without getting.
No, yeah, you had to move in. Yeah, and so I was up against 2 of them right away, and I know that Matt, you were jumping in there and trying to take some of the hits, and we were all running back and forth trying to take care of these things. I was down from 76 hit points to 13 hit points just fighting those 2 displacer beasts, and yeah, it was an ugly encounter. And somebody had to do, when we finally got rid of those, somebody had to do an Indiana Jones to take the crystal skull and replace it with another satchel full of comparable weight, which I think worked, but then we were attacked by another group of people that also wanted the skull, and then we had a TPK.
Yep. Yeah, dead. Total party kill.
Yep. We were pretty much done from the displacer beasts, and so yeah, any fighting after that, it was just over.
And the horde of undead that followed the woman in.
Yes.
I forgot her name.
I thought, I was going through it and saying like, yeah, it's tough, but I don't think we did anything that wrong, aside from me just stepping into a trap, which was dumb. But
no.
The guy, the dungeon master at the end of the thing said like, okay, you guys did really well. Note to the admin, we need to tone this encounter back a little bit.
Yeah.
So it made me feel a little bit better.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think if we had been a well-oiled group who knew what everybody else could do, like we knew our own characters and each other's characters, but we didn't even know each other, everybody in the group, let alone knowing each other's characters. We could have optimized combat.
Yeah, true. Yeah, true. I mean, we were just given those characters too, so it was like, oh, here you go. Oh, what do I have? Oh, okay.
All right, here we go.
They were not full characters either. They were NPCs, right? Like,
yes.
Yeah, with 1 or 2 possible things you can do. It's not like you have a whole spell list to go through or a whole bunch of class abilities to use.
Right.
So it was fun. It provided a little backstory that needed to be told.
Yeah.
Super challenging. Super challenging. Very, lots of tactical decisions, in terms of spacing and everything like that. So that part of it was a lot of fun.
Yes. So then we go from there. We go into the other characters that we were given, and we're we have a magic item that we have to take to the wizard school to get this magic item identified, and we meet this guy that'll do it, but he wants something in return. You remember what he wanted, Mark?
Yeah, I do. He was just happened to be enamored with this half-orc. We were at a university, okay? So this professor was enamored with this half-orc character that's on campus. And what we had to do was we had to help him with his date.
And this was, and he made it very clear up front that we weren't to use any kind of magic to trick her or put any kind of spell on her.
Right.
Not what he wanted. He just was not charismatic, and he wanted some help being a more charming person, a better person to date.
Yep.
Yeah, he wanted a little live advice, little reality show style dating thing where some comedian's screaming stuff in your ear while you're trying to impress your date.
If you're familiar with Cyrano de Bergerac, that's exactly what we were doing here.
That's right.
This is so, to bring it back into focus, if you're not playing a D&D player and you're like, what's D&D like? This is not what you would think of as the typical D&D, but this is usually what D&D ends up being. You get into D&D thinking, I'm going to kill some orcs and I'm going to slay a dragon. Nope, I'm going to hide in a restaurant and whisper to a guy on how to be more charming on a date.
Yeah,
which is what we ended up doing for the next hour of the game. Matt, you told a joke. What was your joke?
Oh, the joke that we told?
Your joke.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm in class the other day, and the professor teaches us how to make holy water. Turns out you just boil the hell out of it.
Thank you. I'll be here all week. Try the roast beef. Tip your waitress.
I'm not sure if that joke gave us an disadvantage on the rest of our skill checks for the evening, but probably should have.
That's exactly what I talk about. I just heard like a slow, nervous chuckle from the dungeon master. I was like, oh boy.
That was definitely one where I laughed, but didn't hit the push to talk.
Yeah. It went over well, though. It did. I think we did. We held that spot of the challenge. We definitely did.
We did.
So
I think we did. We did a good job of coaching this guy through his awkward date. We got some flowers for him. We had him, trying to order a meal she likes. He didn't get the right wine that she wanted, but that was the only spot.
No, but at least it was wine.
At least it was wine.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So then from there, we now have another challenge. We go into the school. And what were we trying to find in the school? Do you guys remember?
We had to get to into the library. We had to get to the
like a sphinx or something.
I'm trying to think of the Flame Wind. She was called
the Flame Wind, which is a kind of oracle that we were going to see, right?
Yep.
So we're sneaking into the library, and we're attacked by sky pirates and break through the ceiling as we're all sneaking through the library.
Which, by the way, fucking awesome.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
We're after going on this weird, we get a TPK, and then the next section, the Cyrano de Bergerac date, which, we go on this sitcom date, and which was still really cool. I really was glad that we got to do that. That was fun.
Yeah, it was a lot
not
of
to
fun.
say it wasn't fun. But I'm thinking, this is the way the adventure's going. We're sneaking through the library now. It's probably going to be another bunch of skill checks to, sneak through the library. Boom! Ceiling cracks open. Sky pirates drop in.
Well, and not just a sky pirate.
Nope. What made them special?
Well, who was the leader of the group? Do you guys remember?
The Rakshasa.
Yeah.
Nasty bit.
Yes. If you don't know, a Rakshasa is a half man, half tiger, with nasty magic resistance. Really magic. I think he was spell resistant, and took
Yes.
half damage on anything that wasn't a magical attack.
Yep.
But also,
it was
like,
nasty.
not your typical caster, like very much focused on melee, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Not afraid to wade in there and just drop big critical hits on certain people.
Certain people, yep.
Yep.
Yeah, I got hit with that Rikshasa once who crit me, and I was feeling pretty good because I hadn't taken too much damage. I had my shields up from being an artificer, so I had like some temporary hit points, and I was like, I felt like I could last a few more rounds, worst case. And then he's all right, that's a critical hit. Add martial prowess to that critical hit. That'll be 64 damage. Shot. I'm like, all right. Well, my max is like 45, and then I had temporary. I was like, all right. That was a one shot if there ever was one.
Yeah, there we go. I didn't even get a second hit in.
Nope. Playing the cleric, my original thought going into the encounter was, I'm just going to hang back and heal people. Because I hadn't really played a cleric before. That was my first time. That's why I wanted to do it. I wanted to like try something new. And then he mentioned the what is it called, Matt? Spirit Guardians.
Yeah, Spirit Guardians, the blender.
Yeah, and it was the Dungeon Master's idea. Sure, you don't want to use those Spirit Guardians? I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I do. So I turned this on.
Our DM was very, very versed. He plays a cleric, I guess, a lot. So, so he was versed in it.
So he was very kind in telling me to turn on the Spirit Guardians. And then he sicked every character on me.
Yeah.
Well, and I think, tactically in that fight, like we were probably in the worst possible position. Because the Sky Pirates, it was a round room, and the Sky Pirates came down around the entire perimeter of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were trapped.
We were bunched up in the middle, and they all went first, and just like, whoop, it's classic like Roman maneuvers, right? We're all like the Battle of the Bastards in Game of Thrones, right?
Yes, yeah.
We're all just caught in the middle. Nobody can get out of there. The casters are just stuck in melee, and the melee people can't move at all. So, that I definitely missed that part of it. With us playing so much Theater of the Mind and Curse of Strahd, is just like that tactical movement part of stuff I hadn't done in a while, and so that was the juiciest bit of the day for me, just in terms of scratching an itch.
Yes, to actually, have some tactical combat, and like a 5 feet of movement is important, and who are you next to when you move, and being able to know what you want to do and optimizing your actions for a turn. It was good. And that's when Matt brought out your little cannon.
Mm-hmm. Which I wasn't expecting to use this feature of it. It was on top of my list of cool things, because this little cannon that you build, it's like, you can shoot force beams out of it, or you can shoot like a flamethrower out of it. I'm like, yeah. And then there's this one, or you can, just have temporary hit points for everybody, and I'm like, boo, we got a cleric, what do we need that for?
Right.
But then, with 2 people went down in the first round, I was like, maybe we should just heal people every round.
Yes.
So,
nice move.
Yeah, it was a good move.
that was it, that I want to immediately build one of those from scratch and find an Eberron campaign and play it all the way for like 20 levels. Like, I'm so sold on that class right now. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it does look like a lot of fun. Mark, what did you think of yours?
Yeah, I thought it was great. I mean, I was just playing a standard rogue character, thief, but the changeling was fun. Didn't really get a chance to utilize his racial traits. But it was fun. I haven't played a rogue in a good long time. I don't think since 2nd edition. It was fun, and I was like getting that sneak attack in, which was great, because I was stuck on the stairwell when those Sky Pirates came in. I ran up the stairwell, tried to get a little higher ground, and just was circling around, just trying to pick people off. So that sneak attack came in handy.
That's fun. You can't go wrong with a rogue. Just a little
bag of damage.
Still my favorite. I mean, you just can't go wrong with chocolate. Just the
It's true.
flavor, man. I love a rogue. Oh God, it's so good.
If you've never played D&D and you're thinking about playing D&D, a fighter is a great place to start because it's just the basics of what you would think about combat-wise. But a rogue is really a great place to start too. Not too complicated. You get to do a ton of damage, and you can get out of a fight if you want to get out of a fight.
Yeah. Get those bonus actions.
Yes. Yeah, rogues.
Yeah, I would even add to that. I think I was reading a tweet from one of the main guys at Wizards of the Coast, and they were like, "What do you regret, about the original design of 5th edition?" And they were like, "A well-run rogue is very broken." That was the comment. It's like really, really tough to pin that character down.
Yes. So we did. I know my character went down twice. I don't know how many times yours went down, Matt.
Yeah, a couple probably.
One of the other characters, their character went down at least once. But we ended up winning that fight. And then we move on to the final moment where we get to meet this oracle, the Sacred Flame, I think you said.
The flame.
The Flame Wind.
The Flame Wind. Yep. That's it.
So Flame Wind picked 2 people at random that she wanted to have duel for her pleasure. Who'd she pick, Mark?
Well, she picked Mark. And you, Adam.
And me. We got to duel.
Yeah.
And so before you guys say anything else, I'd like the audience, if they're still with us here, to just internally make a bet. If you're talking about a one-on-one fight between a cleric and a rogue, given everything we just said, who would you guess would win? And now that you got that in your mind, tell us what happened, guys.
Oh, man, the cleric crushed.
It was the rogue.
Not even, no offense, Mark, but not even close.
I never got wounded.
Not even close. Yep.
I don't think I took a wound in the fight because that cleric, all I did was lay down 2 spells.
Yeah.
And he's got shield and chainmail. And so you had to get an 18 to hit him.
Yeah. I couldn't roll an 18 to save my life.
Yeah, with 2 attacks.
Yeah.
And that was it. It was like 2 rounds of combat.
Yeah. Dink, dink, and then you put on the blender of Spirit Guardians again.
Yep.
Thanks, DM. You would have used that spell
on
me if you didn't know about it.
I never even would have prepared it. I was thinking I was going to prepare a bunch of buff stuff and a bunch of heals. And thinking I was just going to stay in the back and do that. But nope, he put me. He said, "No, you're front and center. This is what you're doing."
Pretty good. And I didn't know how I could get a sneak attack in. That wasn't going to happen. So
you didn't get the extra damage.
Gain advantage on you somehow. But
and we should say too, you weren't like some weird cleric build. You were like a down the middle cleric of light, just straight ahead healer.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is one of the things the DM said afterwards, that a cleric done right is just tons of just a tank. It's just exactly that, like a tank full of weapons that just like stands there with the weapons firing in all directions, and they're really hard to hit.
Yep.
And the cleric spell list is definitely the best spell list in the game.
I think so.
I mean, haven't played clerics and wizards now. Yeah, the cleric spells are awesome. So I'm all in on playing a cleric now. So I need 2 full campaigns. You guys get started. one for my arcane trickster, one for my cleric.
You know what?
Done.
That's this time of year, like with what we're going through right now. Challenge accepted. Let's do it. Let's have a different campaign every night of the week.
Yeah. Awesome.
I mean, I think one of my main goals in this is to play as much Dungeons and Dragons as I want to play when I'm shut in the house, but also stay married. That's having to do.
There is a challenge there. I think tomorrow night, Haley and I are going to do our own version of a drive-in movie. We're going to set up the video projector outside and just sit.
Awesome.
Yeah, sit in the dark, watch movies, have some snacks.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah, it'll be a fun night. I've got like the little video projector. I just hang a sheet on the wall in the yard, and I'm gonna set that up, and we're gonna do that.
Perfect. Perfect.
You should, you should set up little like designated seating zones, so in case the neighbors come out, be like, yeah, you can totally join us from 6.5 feet away. There's a spot right there for you. Like, please, set up your chairs and we'll wave over there. It sounds great.
I'll get the old football field spray paint wheelie thing and just spray paint out seating sections.
Exactly.
Mark, what are you doing outside of work in the near future?
Don't know yet. That's yet to be seen. Hopefully, right now I'd like to read up on the Star Wars game. I'd like to get a little more familiar with the gameplay of it. I know Killian, my son, he's going to be joining, so got to sit down and build a character with him. He's getting his ideas ready. He's going to be building a Wookiee. So I think that's going to be really cool to add to the party.
Yes.
And then I'd like to get back to my painting table. So I actually had about a few minutes yesterday, late when I got home, and I felt like just coming on in here and doing a little painting. So did a little basing of my hero for our upcoming, hopefully, 500-point game that we're going to be playing, our campaign.
Awesome. Yes, I'm really looking forward to finally being able to get to play that campaign. But we might be looking at May.
Yeah.
We were planning on starting that like a month ago, and now it's just getting further and further away. It's crazy.
So I'm just going to focus on that. Just focus building that army. So
cool.
So it'll all be ready. Yep. So those are some of my plans.
Yeah, and I'm going to keep printing stuff and building stuff, and that's my hobby goal for right now. But what I was going to say, Mark, when it comes to Killian's character, if he does lay down stuff, because scouts can get really good pilot skill, I don't mind if he takes my seat in the cloud car.
Really?
It'd be really like, I don't know what he wants to do. I'm not trying to steer him in any direction.
Right.
But as players, I really get a kick out of the idea of the two of you flying a cloud car together.
Yeah. All right. We'll see how it goes. I'll sit down with him here a little later on during the week, and we'll start fleshing that out. We'll see what direction he wants to go.
Awesome.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. What about you, Matt? What are you going to get into later on this week?
I think I've decided I want to take a little bit of a break from D&D because I spent so much time in it, and I want to learn at least one or two new RPG systems that I haven't picked up before. So I'm thinking I might pick up. I definitely want to focus on Call of Cthulhu, like we talked about, but I don't know. I'm thinking about diving into Shadowrun. I've heard a lot of stuff about that.
Oh, yeah.
Really, really cool. But I definitely want to get away from watching stuff on the screen. I am maxed out, I think, on watching Netflix, Hulu, and stuff. And it's all been really good stuff. There's been a couple of seasons of stuff that I've watched that I just never would have got a chance to catch up on otherwise. That I'm so glad I got to enjoy. But I want to read a book. I want to sit down with something tactile and a cup of coffee or beer and just let me just read something.
Yeah, that's not the news. Yeah, that's
good. That's not the
Yeah.
news. Yeah.
Turn off the phone. Put away, turn off the notifications, just disconnect, dive in, get a little sketch pad off to the sides, just start, finding new ways to be creative and get the juices flowing.
Awesome. Now's the time. Unplug.
Yes.
Definitely.
Great time to just completely separate from it, because this is what we're doing right now. We just got to weather the storm.
Yep.
There literally isn't, other than being charitable and giving your money away when you can and how it's smart, what you can do is stay home.
Yes.
If you can do it. And that's it. Just do it. But do it consistently and don't give up on it, because it's harder than it seems, right?
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it. And then I'm like, I miss one thing. I miss I'm running low on soda. Oh, I'm running low on dish soap. It's just these these things that I'm used to just being able to go get whenever, and realizing I better just put some water in that dish soap bottle until know.
Better make it last.
I gotta make that stretch, at least, try and hit those milestones, at least stay out of the mix for a week or 2 weeks.
Yeah.
If you can, since it's got that gestation period. you know. And Haley and I both have bad allergies. It's so hard to tell an allergy from,
right.
you know, is this the beginning of being sick? Because I'm the same way. As soon as the sun goes down, my nose just clogs.
Yep. And we are in the pollinating is what I call this time of year down here in Florida. Yeah, but the pollinating. And I saw a news article too. It came across my feed, but I think it was entitled like something like "Let's play a game." Do I have corona or is it just anxiety? You know, so I think a lot of people are experiencing that right now.
Oh man, what a crazy time we're living through right now. Well, hopefully if there is anybody out there listening to this, let's say for podcaster confidence, assume someone's listening. But you know,
we talked about this a little bit the other night, but like, oh my gosh, thank you to everybody and anybody who's producing content right now, because like we need it. We need stuff.
Yeah,
to occupy.
And if you just want to have a voice on in the background, you know, we're here. We're gonna do this, and we're gonna keep doing more of this, and have more to talk about. So, if you have stuff that you want us to talk about, let us know. And I hope everybody out there listening that you're doing well and you're taking care of yourself. You're washing your hands. You're not touching your face. You're social distancing. Do all these important things. Take care of yourselves and your family.
Absolutely. Do it.
So, what do people say when? What do the orcs say when they've just finished their virtual game at Garycon? 1, 2, 3.
Mark with low, like Lamb of God.
Yeah, I like that. I regret even participating. Mark's was so cool.
There's a lot of rage in there.
Yeah. It was awesome. This has been an episode of WARlando. I am Adam. You can reach me as WARlando77 on Twitter or just WARlando on Instagram. You can reach Mark on Twitter and Instagram with the handle of WARlandoMark. You can reach Nicholas on Twitter and Instagram with the handle of WARlandoNick. Please leave comments. We'd love to hear your thoughts. If you want to support the show, go to the show notes and follow the link to Teespring and buy a t-shirt, or to Ko-Fi and buy us a coffee, or better yet, buy us a beer. And thank you very much for listening.